Japan smashed Tunisia 4-0. Spain smashed Saudi Arabia 4-0. Egypt picked up their first win in World Cup history, and Belgium might be frauds. There was a whole lot of stuff that happened yesterday, and I'm going to try to recap it as fast as I possibly can. We're going to go game by game. Some of these matches I did not watch in its entirety, like Saudi Arabia, Spain. Turned it off at halftime. Not sure what we really need to discuss there, but if there's anything I forget to mention, big takeaways that are not brought up at any point in this recap, let me know down below in the comments. In fact, comment the number one thing you learned. It could be about Japan. It could have been Hervé Renard actually is not Jesus Christ. I mean, whatever you really took away, let me know in the comments, and I guess I can start there. Japan annihilating Tunisia. I mean, Tunisia, dude. This is, wow. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I thought it was going to be bad, and it was worse. Like, that's kind of, I had like my greatest fear for this team. Losing all three games, I did not think that they were going to get a point. They still technically could against the Netherlands. But wow, has it been worse. I saw the Ali Abdi interview. He's pissed off. The Federation seems like a complete and utter joke. Lamouchi should have never been sacked. If this was the benchmark, right, conceding 9 freaking goals in your first 2 games, why didn't you keep the coach at the AFCON? Because at least the coach of the AFCON, you played a brilliant first game. You at least kind of fought back against Nigeria. Ultimately, you lost. But, hey, it wasn't embarrassing. And then in the third game against Tanzania, well, you didn't really try that hard, and you lose to Mali on pens. Losing to Mali on penalties, ladies and gentlemen, despite the fact Mali had 10 men, is far less embarrassing than what Tunisian fans have been subjected to during this World Cup. 9 goals conceded. I need to dust off the ancient scrolls and see Tunisia's worst ever World Cup performance. Because they're the team in Africa, they qualify, I think, the second most, only behind Cameroon. I think they're tied with Morocco for like 7 World Cup appearances all time. They never do anything at the World Cup, but I don't know, what do you call that? Pedigree. If I keep getting there, but then I never progress, do I have pedigree, or is my pedigree just in qualification? I don't know. Comment down below. But I would be willing to bet, regardless of what happens in match day 3, this has got to be the worst start, or just the worst World Cup period in Tunisian history. I mean, guys, there's really nothing positive for me to say about this team outside of Hannibal Mejbri had a couple moments once again against Japan. These defenders, these center backs, might be worse than Qatar's. They might actually have found center backs who are worse than Qatar's. Qatar got a new goalkeeper. They got Abu Nada. I don't know where he came from in the Aspire Academy, but he's replaced Barsham, who was a fraud. So now Qatar don't even have a goalkeeping issue at the very least. I mean, they're terrible, but they don't have a keeper issue anymore. It would seem. Tunisia, man. This guy, I mean, I looked at the stats. Hold on. Ayman Damen, he made 1 save, 4 goals conceded. I mean, Japan overall, ladies and gentlemen, 5 shots on target. This is like a carbon copy of what we saw in the Netherlands-Sweden game. Netherlands, 5 shots on target, 5 goals, 0 saves from the goalkeeper. You could have put me in there, and I would have had a better performance. You cannot overcome this if you're Tunisia. I mean, simply put. So, yeah, outside of Hannibal, and I'm not talking Hannibal Barca, who is probably the only person who could have led this freaking national team to anything respectable at this performance. I mean, we literally need one of the greatest generals, the greatest Carthaginian general of all time, would have executed the entire team. Because that's what they did back in Carthage, by the way. If you want to dust off the history books, if you were a naval commander, you were a general, and you failed, executed. Now, I'm not saying we need to go back to that level of punishment, but I'm just saying maybe these players should be very fortunate that this game was not played 2,500 years ago, okay? No positives really whatsoever for this team. Putrid. Renard, leave the project, man. Leave Tunisia immediately. Leave now. Don't even wait till match day 3. I had some Tunisians, bless their hearts, man. They tweeted at me and they said, Tunisia is a better project than Saudi Arabia because we have more talent. No, you don't. You don't. You're not even close, actually. This is horrific. If I'm Hervé Renard, again, with all due respect, this is beneath me. I'm a 2-time AFCON winner. I've qualified multiple teams to the World Cup. I've won World Cup games. And you want me to manage this Tunisian dumpster fire? I know those are strong words. That's what it is. The fans deserve better. The FA, I'm putting the blame on y'all. It's not the fans' fault. It's not Hervé Renard's fault. I don't even think it's Lamucci's fault because he was appointed with basically no time. You wanted a new system. He tried to play attacking football, at least somewhat, and you guys got massacred by Sweden. If you didn't want to play that style, if you wanted bunker and defend, you should have appointed Carlos Queiroz when you got the chance. Okay? So just inept management, inept appointments, just disgusting overall from Tunisia. For Japan, it was just an efficient victory, and I'm very happy that I predicted that at this point of the Moriyasu cycle, that their mentality, this squad is too good. They've been through too much adversity, twofold to this Tunisian side. I thought it was going to be a 2-0. It was a 4-0. So they absolutely murdered them. And congratulations, Ueda with a brace and an assist. Man of the match for me. Man of the match, I think, officially as well. Now, you guys know, and I hate even bringing this up now because I should just be talking about how good Japan are. I'm so looking forward to the Sweden game because that was always the one I was nervous about. I did not really see Tunisia knockout ability against Japan, but I do see it against Sweden. So I'm telling you, man, if we see a good Japanese performance against the Swedes and they pull Brazil in the round of 32, they're beating Brazil. They're beating Brazil. I'm making that pick right now. For Ueda, I've been very critical of him. I mean, sometimes I don't know the difference between hating and criticizing. I've never said that he's trash. To me, that's hating. If I'm like, he has zero value as a footballer, he should retire. He's ugly. That's hating. If I say he's not clinical enough, he's good in build-up, but really Japan still don't have that consistent goal scorer up front, I feel like that's criticism. And a lot of people were tweeting at me, oh, are you going to apologize to Ueda? Why would I apologize? Because he had a good performance. I'm very happy for Ueda. Ueda brought a smile to my face. I'm supporting this man. Like, sometimes, y'all, I want to be wrong in the things that I say, right? Like, just because I have a prediction, just because I have an opinion, doesn't mean it's the one that I want to have. I would love to be proven wrong. Does this performance against Tunisia prove Ueda's the top striker? No! Because Tunisia are terrible. Because they have the worst goalkeeper at the tournament. No, it doesn't. Now, if he does something against Sweden, though, now we're starting to have a conversation. How about you do something at the next Asian Cup as well? An Asian Cup that, based on how Japan looks versus the rest of the Asian teams here, should be winning. It's them or Australia. You know, Iraq are my hot take that they'll do super well. But it's time to bring it home, lads. It's been 15 years. Bring it home. With this team. Man, you know what? Mini talking point before I move on. This is a rambling recap video. I think what is not talked about enough is Japan are without Minamino, Mitoma, Kubo, and Wataru Endo. And they are still playing incredible football. Meanwhile, let's do a comparison here. Belgium have a game without Jeremy Doku because he's got a stomach ache or something. Horrific. They literally can't cope. They cannot overcome the absence of one guy. And I know Doku's very good. Mitoma's very good as well. Yes, Doku's a better individual, but in terms of importance, in terms of lethality for their national team, it's quite similar. It is. Don't tell me Jeremy Doku is more important to Belgium than Endo, Minamino, Kubo, and Mitoma combined for Japan. Stop it. Unsubscribe if you have that opinion. Look at Spain. Spain didn't have Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. Nico Williams has been a fraud this season anyways. Ooh, that was harsh. I'm going to keep it in. He's been a fraud this season anyways, and they had nothing against Cabo Verde. Nothing. They still had Gavi and Ferran Torres out there. Let's not act like there's no viable backups. Couldn't do a damn thing. Couldn't do a damn thing, chat. Now Lamine Yamal comes back. They massacre Saudi Arabia 4-0. Spain, the Euro champions, didn't really seem to have enough juice elsewhere in the squad to overcome the Lamine Yamal absence. Now he's back, and that's no longer a problem. Jeremy Doku should be back for match day 3. That shouldn't be a problem. It is very disappointing, though, for the European teams. Look at Harry Kane. Look at England when Harry Kane doesn't play. They're terrible. And it's like, wow. I mean, embarrassment and shame to the Europeans, and also full credit to Moriyasu, who has made this system where you can have 4 key... Who else has 4 key players out, y'all? Germany? Well, now they have 4 because Schlotterbeck's out, Gnabry's out, Carl's out. There's probably another guy I'm forgetting in there. We'll see what Germany looks like. You know, in match day 3, it's going to be a rubber duck game that doesn't matter what happens, but Schlotterbeck is a huge injury. Man, If y'all don't respect Japan, if you don't respect the strength of this talent pool, you're a fool. It rhymed. I'm a rapper, I guess. Like, how can you not be impressed by this? 4 star players out. 4! And they just beat Tunisia 4-0. It's ridiculous. Full credit to Japan, but like I said, I'm kind of scared for the next game against Sweden because that Sweden counterattack is legit. Sweden on set pieces are legit. Win the game, and they're through to the round of 16, in my opinion.